yeah, so the podcast episode or whatever did not happen today. I think because my friend forgot, and I didn't remind them. I was thinking about doing it, I think this morning, last night, and then I didn't. And then also had a driving test, and it went very poorly. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just not. I'm just gonna talk about other stuff. And also, obviously, I'm a Whole Life fan. Chloe also, like, is becoming an affiliate as well. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I think it's fine if, like, I'd be like, oh, hey, maybe we do an impromptu, like, Saturday stream or something, you know? That might be the move. Because, yeah, a lot happened. Yeah. I guess I can just start with the Chloe graduation. Or affiliate, but I mean, also Chloe just said she'd basically treat it as a graduation. Which people are, I think, at this point treating it as like it's like copium. It's like a, you know, it's like lying essentially. It's like making it not hurt as bad. But I think it's still like, oh, I just realized you can see the FPS thing. I don't know why it's right there. It's usually in the bottom right. But even if it's not that, I think it's more just like they can come back if they want to, right? Like if they ever want to come back for something, they can. And I think Ame even said she wanted to come back for Ian Reco. Like when they start that up again. So like I think that would truly be like a test of that, you know, to see. Because I think with Chloe, from what I've heard, it's gonna take a minute for her if she were to come back to something, because she needs like throat surgery and like, yeah, apparently her health's not in a great spot right now. Although I think that's gonna stop her from even doing like an alternate life thing. I don't know, because I feel like if I was in her spot, I would wait until my health got better and then I would do it. Because I feel like under a corpo, like they would probably give you the funds to like fund that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe she's still getting, because she technically is still with the company for the next, was it 2 months? I think she's done in January, end of January. So I guess she technically still could, but I mean, I think though, if you make the announcement for the next 2 months, you're going to be streaming. And that's also a lot longer of a window than Ame gave. Ame only gave, I think, 10 days. Now, Ame did say she wanted the announcement to come earlier. So that's probably more of whatever happened with that, right? Like, I'm sure actually it probably would have been around that time frame. And God, if we knew that, like, stuff with freaking... They did the freaking old Jonathan arc, like... When we knew that, I feel like that arc would hit so much harder. I mean, it hit so hard, like, after the fact, right? And then, like, also Ame singing Violet on the 4th anniversary. But, like, dude, that would have hit so hard for everybody. It was funny, though, too, because I saw people being like, Chloe graduated on her 3rd year anniversary. I was like, well, Ame technically did the same. She also did around her 4th anniversary, so. It is funny how, like, these are happening. Because, like, it always feels like once we've, like, kind of recovered a little bit from, like, the previous one, then another one just comes in and just smacks you. It's like, oh, well, alright. God dang it. Yeah, I think, because this is, again, a newer fan talking, I really didn't plan on rabbit hole until like June. So like I've only been a fan for like 5 months, almost 6. I don't know exactly when in June. I think it was early June, early June. But regardless, yeah, it seems like they're going more corpo. Which honestly, I thought they were more corpo. Like if you look at, I guess V Shoujo is like vastly different, right? Like V Shoujo is like the most casual corpo, so I guess it's not necessarily a fair comparison. Like I probably should compare like Niji or something like that, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure compared to Niji, like Hollow is like a lot more casual, and even before, like especially before then. But yeah, now that they're doing that, they have to listen to some stockholders, which, you know, is the communist to me. I hate that. Right? And the communist who hates money, you know, just thinks it's stupid. But yeah, it is funny just the timing of this, and it also reminded me like back at the beginning of 2024, right? Because this was the same year MatPat retired, and was it Tom Scott too? I was just like 2024 is like the year of people retiring that were like obviously like a lot older than some of the Hall of Talents. Although I think some of them actually are older than like MatPat and like Tom Scott, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm sure like not necessarily them, but with like MatPat and like the people who've been around for like a decade, right, or like 15 years, stuff like that, they're gonna start leaving, right? We're finally gonna see like YouTubers actually retire, right? We're getting into the next generation of content creation, like full-on generation too, not just like, oh, a few years apart, you know, like we're actually full on getting the next generation. So yeah, and it's funny that Hololive also had that, but yeah, again, I think it's because of how they're running their, like, how everything's running now. And again, like, it's just not gonna work with some people, especially since I think there's like 40 of them, 50 of them. You're bound to have a few of them that's not gonna agree with it, especially with how low key it was when it first started. Like Aqua, I feel like makes a lot of sense that she might not have agreed with it. At least not completely, right? Like their goals might not have aligned. Like I can understand that. I feel like even like 2021 kind of like, I don't think Hololive was as big, right? Like the big VTuber boom happened, but like I'm sure it still wasn't crazy big. Maybe for like Myth and that, but I still don't think it was that insane. I mean, I guess I wasn't around for 2021, so I wouldn't know, because I think HoloX debuted 2021. But yeah, I think they debuted after Council, because I think I'd heard them call like Mume Senpai. I think they debuted after Council. Oh no, that was Rurika and Sue. That was Device. Never mind. I think I'm wrong on that. Regardless. Yeah. It is funny though, because like I'm looking at like every few days, man, Guro or Mume is just trending, and it's like, hey, you should be thankful he's that they're still with Hololive at this point, you know? Like you still have the hope. And somebody would made the remark that Chloe graduated before Gura. Which, yeah, I feel like with Gura, she's probably working on something big. Because obviously I listen to Jules, a lot of Family Jules. And he hasn't posted anything in a while, but he has stated that he's working on a big like YouTube project. So like they could just be working on a big project. I think I've heard from people that Mume has just worked on university stuff. Which is crazy to me that... Has she taken hiatus like this before? I think she took one, right? But even then, I feel like coincide with a school year. But I'm not gonna get into that. It's just, that's gotta be very interesting to be in university and also like be an idol, kind of, you know, and like do all of these like mainstream events, right? I'm sure that's very weird. Yeah, I think that's what's going on with Mume, and I would assume with Gura, because I think Gura actually like hinted that she was working on something big. I think it was with the rest of Myth. Unless it was like that aquarium thing, but I don't think it was. I think it was another thing I was thinking too that it might have been, but I don't think it was those stuff. I assume Gura's like actually working on big projects. I think also just taking a break from the internet sometimes, which is very healthy. With how the internet's become, yeah, it's probably a very healthy thing to do. Also, I feel like for the sake of their talents, also they should just go on Blue Sky. Because very clearly they're just on social media to interact with people or just like have fun. Like how social media was originally like intended to be used, I feel like. And like Blue Sky fits that a lot better than Twitter. Like, Twitter's a mess. If I was Blue Sky, I actually would probably like try to reach out to Cover and like see if I could bring them over, because that would be a huge boost in JP people as well. I feel like people don't realize how big VTubers are in Japan, you know, like, and how dedicated their fan bases are. It's crazy. So like, I think it would be a huge boost for Blue Sky, because I feel like also Blue Sky is kind of a more EN thing, right? It's like more English. I don't know if it's really reached JP yet, or like overseas, which is maybe why they haven't thought of making the change. But yeah, I feel like if I were to be in Hololive, I would just at this point make a Blue Sky account. I think the Twitter, at that point, I wouldn't even be on Twitter to interact with stuff. I would just be there to for announcements. It's like how Jeremy Dooley was for a decent final chunk of when he was on Twitter, was just there essentially for announcements, and that was it. I think that's how I would basically use Twitter, because I feel like with Blue Sky it's much more like tame, you know. It can kind of just hang out, let loose a little bit. I do kind of wish it had like a trending thing with it. There's just nothing. So like there's only the homepage. So like, yeah, if that turns into like what I've heard from people with the Twitter For You page, that's not great. It's gonna be an even more miserable experience. There is still like the following page, but, and like that's essentially what I'm on Twitter for, is to look at like two people's tweets, like specifically, and then like just going down my following timeline, and that's it. Which my Twitter timeline is essentially like VTuber stuff, and then, hey, look at this atrocity. Or like, look at this political analysis. It's like, all right. To be fair, I put that in my Blue Sky bio though. And both are my interests. Which, yeah, it does suck at times. Yeah, also with the affiliate thing, it was pretty neat that Cover would kind of let Chloe like kind of openly say that she's going to be in another forum, and like to support her in the future. Like that's pretty neat. Like, I think they still try to help their talents. Like they're really trying to balance it as much as they can, which like I do respect them for that. It is a respect thing. Well, I think also there might be a little bit of like a, because Fubuki is like the main, like, I feel like person that everybody's looking at to keep Hololive accountable, because Fubuki has said on multiple times, if she leaves, then that means Covercore is not in a good spot. Like, you're probably gonna see like with Niji, a bunch of people just leaving. So yeah, I think people will look at Fubuki as like a, are we still all right? You know, like, are we still doing all right here? So yeah, that was another thing too, is like, I saw people be like, oh, I'm sick of this idol stuff, and it seems like Flow Glows is like an example of like them wanting to be more like idol culture, and it's like, okay, explain Gigi to me then. Like, you know, explain Gigi to me. It's like, okay, Liz, like, she's a really good singer, like CC can play the violin, you know, and look, even still, like, Rower is like mostly art, so like even then that's also like, okay. I mean, you could have had maybe someone that was like a singer, because yes, Herb was a professional singer before, so like that would make sense to fit that mold. But I think the rest of them, their backgrounds are just that they are VTubers. You know? So like maybe they're shooting it for in Japan, like the idol culture, but that's because it lands more. I feel like in the West, like with EN, they're getting more like people who just are VTubers, like content creators first. Because you can't explain Gigi fitting the role of an idol. I'm sorry. That just doesn't work. There's a reason why the one award she was nominated for, the VTuber Awards, was most chaotic. She does not fit the build of an idol. Like... And like, that's the thing, that was the second most recent gen. You can't just look at that. And also even like Flowglow. Like with what they've been talking about, like that's not idol behavior. At least what people would view it as idol behavior, you know? Like, you know? That's another one, Shori. I don't think Shori really fits idol. You know? Like maybe the rest of Admit, sure. Shori, I don't think does. Shori, I think, from what I've heard from people in the comments, was that she was an OG VTuber. So like I think even back with like Iron Mouse and like Zentreya. So like she's been doing it for a while. Yeah. Like I don't know how you could explain Shori then, other than she was just a former VTuber. I think all of Council was like that too, even. And Myth was too. Like, because even Callie, who has a musical background, like, she didn't make it in the musical field, really. And she joined as a joke, right? It was like her bandwear wasn't doing that hot before then. So, like... I mean, I guess, like, yeah, that's way before, and, like, I think they're talking about, like, a current pivot now. But you can't just look at this past generation and just be like, oh yes, that's what they're going for now, especially when they went and got Gigi. Like, you can't say that, I feel like. You can't say that they're going more idol focused when they brought on Gigi. You just can't. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I also don't think I shuffled this, because I always forget to. Never shuffle it. It was funny though too, because like, when I woke up, I was actually getting recommended Chloe clips. I'm like, this is interesting. Why am I getting recommended like Chloe clips? Like, why? I don't think I necessarily thought why. Like, I asked why. I think I was like, oh, this is weird. And then I was like, oh, it gives me time to like learn about another one. And then I think I think just in my notifications, it showed Rin Penrose's clip of like the VTuber industry, how she feels about it. And then someone just put up like, oh yeah, with how like Aqua, then Ame, and now Chloe. I'm like, wait, Chloe left? It's like, wait a minute. And then yeah, I went on Twitter and yep, there was the announcement. It's like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, again, like, I guess, sure, it can be seen as copium, but I think it's just, like, it's obviously a lot easier for those talents then, like, if they want to at any point to come back, they can. Like, they're very clearly supportive of them. You, like, they let Chloe, like, literally say, like, I'll be streaming another form, come support me. Like, they're very supportive of them. Right? So, like, I'm sure they'll let them come back anytime, unless there's, like, in a controversy. I think other than that, though, like, they'll be like, yeah, come on by, and, like, come back. You know? I'm just worried with, like, because it seemed like Ame, like, was hesitant to ask if she could come back to stuff. So, like, I think that would be the only thing stopping that, is just the initiation. But I think they would be more than happy to. And yeah, I do think if Aqua, like, she graduated after, because especially with Chloe being an affiliate too, I think she would have been affiliate. I think that's just what they're going to do, and I think someone did say that, and it's going back, but like they were saying like it's just copium, and it's like it makes it sound better, but I don't think that's actually the case. I think it's more like the talents are like, oh, this is like the door is still open for me, right? It's not like I have to like Well, it is interesting because Chloe said she'll no longer be a cover employee. So like, I'm not sure if she just doesn't have a contract then. Because like, I don't know how she'd be affiliated then if she doesn't have a contract. Like, yeah, that does seem like she'd be affiliated by name only. I think Ame though, like, actually probably does have like a contract or something. Like a Legends contract, like WWE gives out or whatever. Yeah, that line was interesting to me, that she said she'll no longer be a cover employee. Because I do feel like that does kind of shoot my theory out the window. And like maybe what they're saying gives it more weight, but I don't know. But like she also said there was so much discussion, so like I feel like it'd just be weird if there's like so much discussion and then it's just like, nah, I'm just leaving. Like at that point you should just, I mean, she did say she'd treat out of graduation, but like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's like them like trying to make it sound like less sad. I don't know, but it just seems weird to me.
Get NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube
I'm sure nice.
TV
Hang on.
to watch up to 4 games live at once with multi-view. Watch every game every Sunday, all in one place. Sign up today. Terms and embargoes apply.
I'm glad that she was like, hey, don't like treat anything as fact other than like what I'm saying. I do like how she did state that, because I do feel like it has to be stated in today's internet. It's like whatever rumor you hear of anything, like don't listen to it. Because again, I'm just speaking my own thoughts, right? Like I'm trying to figure out as much as like the average Hololive fan, right? Of like, what does this mean, right? Because we still really don't know what it means. I feel like it's the same thing with the device branch at Hololive. It's like, okay, what was it? Like, what is this still? But I think like affiliate is the same way with that. Like we still just need more time to really like understand what it's like. And yeah, again, maybe it's more like some affiliates might actually be like that they can come back. Like it seems like Ame is setting up from what she was saying. And then maybe like with Chloe, where she said that she's not gonna be a cover employee. Like, I mean, yeah, how does that work though? Because like, are the Legends technically a WWE employee then? I would guess so, right? Because because like Jake Roberts signed to AEW and then he was just taking out like WWE stuff, right? It's like, I guess they would still technically be WWE employees. So like, if she says she's not an employee, then I think she is like just legitimately not gonna come back. It's very weird. I don't know, man. It's very odd. I mean, yeah, unless it's like that they still have her IP and can still use it. But like, I think even though that though, like the selling of merch like is done as well. It's like even as the company, I feel like it doesn't make any sense. And I feel like with how good Hololive's been at it, I feel like it's just weird to like freaking sugarcoat it. Because like they've used graduation before, they did with Aqua. Like they've announced graduations. I'm sure Sana was the same way. Like I feel like it'd just be weird now if they were just kind of sugarcoating it. I don't know. It's just the like, I'm no longer gonna be a cover employee. Like, and again, it was an EN like sub, so maybe like it was mistranslated, misinterpreted, right? Like maybe that was the case, because I don't speak Japanese. But yeah, that line is very interesting, because my brain just immediately goes like, how can you be affiliated if you don't have, because I assume if you have a contract you're technically an employee. So like how would that work, right? I'm not fully sure how that would work. It was fun though, because yeah, Chloe immediately shot up like 10k after her announcement. I mean, that was the case I think with Fame too, because she didn't hit 100k milestone in over 2 years, and then she hit it on her last stream, which is kind of crazy. But yeah. Also, someone pointed out that aside from Device, which obviously are the two most recent gens, every gen of JP has one member gone now, which is like crazy. Although I think Gen 1 happened like immediately, right? It was like the first week or something like that. Oh, Gen 0 actually. Gen 0 doesn't. Yeah, Gen 0 still has everybody. Yeah, other than that, all of JP, they don't have a member. It's crazy because like you can even extend to EN with Myth and Council. I count Promise too because like Promise wouldn't exist if Sana didn't leave, right? I think it still would be called Council Risk if Sana was still around. Like I think Iris still would have been just lumped in with the second gen, right? Because that's who she hung out with the most. So she would have still been lumped in there. But I don't think they would have been known as Promise, right? If it weren't for Sana leaving, it still would have just been Council Risk. Like Iris might have been an honorary member, and like I feel like her name, like the name being literally Council Risk, I feel like did make her an honorary member. But yeah, the name Promise would not exist if Sana didn't leave. So that's why I still count Promise as like, you know, a member missing. Because also, like, how do you count Iris? Iris was a standalone edition, right? So you can't really count Iris on her own. Like, oh yeah, actually, freaking Project Hope has no members leave. It's like, come on, dude. It's one person. And like, I feel like people lumped her in with the second gen anyway. Like, you know? Like, you can't really count that. Yeah, also people said her singing voice is great, so I should probably listen to some of her stuff. That's something I have heard like pretty consistently. Is them talking about her singing voice. Which yeah, if her throw is like damage, that kind of sucks too. She might have pulled an Adele. I think she Adele'd it. Hopefully that's not the case, but if what I'm hearing is that she had a great singing voice and now she has throw problems, I mean, it's not looking great. Yeah, obviously this one won't hurt me as hard as Ame because it's JP still, and like I barely knew much about Chloe. The one clip I had of Chloe was like the animation of her and like Biwu, where Biwu just kept messing with her, kept calling her stinky in Japanese. That was really like all I had with her before, but yeah. I'm guessing with like Ame though, like I don't think I saw that many Ame clips. It's like maybe like right before the announcement. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've already been through this song and dance. I doubt it. I doubt that's the case. Yeah, I think it's just simply I didn't like really build that parasocial relationship with Chloe as much. Didn't have time to grow. Yeah, also another thing I wanted to add into that though, with the like 2024 being like, oh, like people like retiring and stuff, like MapPat and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if this keeps going, like this trend. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still like also more people that also follow suit. I think they're just kind of giving a few months in between, right? As like a, like maybe it's unintentional, but just as like kind of like a buffer in between each graduation, like spacing out a little bit. But yeah, I would not be surprised if there's still more that would happen. Because yeah, obviously like Justice and Flowglow, right? They're gonna come into this style of what Hololive is, but like others might not, right? The older members wouldn't have. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how it goes. I think also another interesting thing about like the whole like, oh, they're turning idols. I think someone who would actually be a good parameter, like if they leave or not, would be Fauna for that theory. Because Fauna seems like she's more in for the streaming than like the actual idol part of it. Maybe she loves doing it, right? It's very possible. But I do think if Fauna leaves, then maybe that holds more water, that's the direction they're going and be more idol-like. I do know that, I think it was Yago himself said he's shooting for like a Disney type thing. So like, I guess it is possible they are moving in the idol direction, but I feel like that's probably again more for JP, because I don't see why you would sign Gigi, right? If you're like going for the idol thing. I mean, maybe you understand like, oh yeah, they also stream on the side too, right? So you also want that comedy, but just with how like Gigi is, it's just like, I think if I were thinking like, okay, I want idols, right? I'm not gonna choose Gigi, right? If I'm choosing this model to fit under an idol build, which is why I think if they are doing it, it's in JP and it's not with Ian, right? I don't think they're doing it in the West, because I feel like also they probably understand that it's not like idol culture itself is not as accepted over here. At least some of its aspects. Because yeah, there are some things I myself and I find weird with idol culture. But I think it's the main thing is like I'm just more alright with being public, and I think that's not necessarily an idol thing. I think that's just other people thing, and I have to be mindful of that. Like the whole gloves thing I think is kind of weird, because like I feel like they're all very clearly white. I think even Callie, like when she accidentally did it, like she's like, oh man, I'm white. No. Like, I mean, I think they're all just white. Like if someone actually figured out like their identity from their hands, right? And like how their hands looked, like I would be more impressed than anything. Because I think even like indie VTubers, like if they're doing hand cams, they won't wear gloves. I think that's just like at least like a corpo thing. I don't know if Niji does it or whatever, but like it seems that's more like a corpo thing. Like I don't even think indies, like I think they still use their bare pale hands. It's like, yeah, oh no, I'm white, who would have guessed? Like yeah, that's like the one thing I think I just find weird with it. I feel like also though, if you're recording videos, like that's gotta be so hard, right? Like you can't show anything, and you gotta shoot that like perfectly. Like I think if I was in Whole Life, I couldn't record videos unless it's like a Twitter space or something, or like we're just paying attention to the audio, right? So I gotta just have my phone face down or something like that. I think that's literally it. I don't see how I would be able to do that, because you have to do that while also like probably not putting other people, like try not to put other people in the picture too. Like it's insane.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish.
That just seems like
there's a YouTube Music app where you can also
super hard to me. There's another one too, wasn't it like Mio or something? Mio. That like had her like leg showing or something like that during the hand cam thing, but she was wearing sweatpants. That would definitely be me 100%. I even did it on some of the shorts I was doing. Like I think actually pretty much every single one, I had my knee up against like the desk so you could just see what, like I think I was wearing lounge pants every time, but like you could just see what lounge pants I was wearing. It's like, yeah, I would suck at that. I'd be very bad. Yeah, I also would not be surprised, like just getting all the way, like looping back around to what I said before all this started. I wouldn't be surprised if more people are leaving. And again, like, especially some of the older ones. I think the older ones though, like Gen Zero, is like actually benefiting from this new direction they're taking, because I think that is what they were. I think actually, now I think about it, I think they were going for idols at first, and then they like pivoted. Like, if we're going back to the whole idol thing, I think they actually started with that philosophy, but it's changed since then. Because I think that's what Gen Zero was. Gen Zero was getting a bunch of those people who like were focused more on music and stuff, right? And like wanting to be idols. I think that's what Gen Zero was. I don't think, like, I think they pivoted. Obviously, I think once gamers came out, like in Fubuki formed gamers, like I think that's when it started to pivot. I think it did start out actually as like getting idols, but then it changed. And I mean, yeah, maybe it isn't our like pendulum swinging back over again, but yeah, I don't know. I'm turning ice again. Yeah, I think Gen Zero might be Hololive lifers. I think Sora and Suisei will. I feel like Miko probably will. Like, I don't really see Gen Zero going anywhere for a while. I don't know much about ASCII and Roboco. So I can't really make a freaking verdict on that. But like, I think it's been stated before, like, probably by Suisei herself, because it's on the concept like Suisei is benefiting directly from that, how they're running it now. So I don't really see. Well, Fubuki also, for her reasons, will be I think, Hololive lifer as well. A holo lifer, if you will. Just for that statement, right? So like, as long as it runs, you know, and still seems like takes good care of the talents, you know, she'll be a holo lifer, you know. So like, I think she basically will be there until it will, like, you know, until she's like super old or it gets run into the ground, which is very possible, because that's what happened with Niji. Somehow they're still alive though. It's big corpo though. It's crazy. It's crazy, honestly, how they're still hanging on, and I think they're still doing those dumb business practices. Crazy. Yeah. Those are the ones I'd see that be hololifers. I think Callie said she has no, and Kiara have said they have no desire, and Iris say they have no desires to leave. I think it's mostly the people who make music. I think those are the people who are going to stay around for a while. Because I'm noticing a trend with that, with Callie, Kiara, and Iris. And like, I assume Bae would like stick around too. So I'm noticing a trend. It's the ones that would like, that make music. Yeah, maybe it does pivot more to that. Who knows? Yeah, maybe then like Device actually will like be there for a lot longer than. I don't know though, because I could definitely see them like wanting to move on to bigger and better things as well. That's another thing giving out too, is like they could be like they probably could have the talent to stick around for as long as they would, but like there's always that desire to like want to do bigger and better things, right? Or like eventually the goal is just not overlapping, like with Ame, like with Aqua, like with Chloe, right? Like obviously these people, like they could have stayed for a lot longer, right? If they wanted to, you know, people loved them. They had like a huge following, right? Chloe was literally the most sub to Hollow X member, which I did not realize until looking at the sub counts. Like they all had big followings. Aqua had over 2 million. Ame had 1.6, I think. She was the third most in Myth, I believe. They had huge followings, you know? They could have kept it if they wanted to. But their goals changed, right? What they wanted to do in life changed. So, you also gotta think about that too. Like, we're getting to the point in Hololive now where, like, the goals aren't overlapping, or like they feel like they've accomplished enough that they wanted to do with Hololive, and they're moving on. They're going into a new chapter in their life, right? Because I feel like also it's easy to forget. Hololive is just potentially, for some of these people, just a chapter in their life, right? You know? It's just a mere chapter. You know? And just the turn of the page. I feel like it was very clear with Ame, and then we then later found out about her. Like, yeah, it was just a chapter in their life. You know, they want to move on to do bigger and better things. Like, that's cool. Honestly, like, even what I want to do with it, like, I don't know if Hololive is actually the best fit for me, even though, like, I want to do it. I don't know, like, with what I want to do creatively, if it's the best fit. I really don't. Because, like, I want to do a lot of 3D stuff. Like, I think it's very similar to what Ame was, where Ame wanted to do a lot of 3D stuff. And also, like, I want to have, like, yeah, I think, like, Iron Mouse and stuff like that, where I have a bunch of outfits, but I think Hololive only gives you, like, one a year. So, like, that would be kind of a tough pill to swallow. So, like, yeah. Like, it would be a tough pill to swallow for that first year, not really doing much of, like, 3D or, like, anything, right? That'd be very hard. It's like, I don't know if it would be the best fit for me. Like, it would be, like, I would have some connections, which would be great, right? I'd really love that, but I don't know if in the long run it would actually be the best fit for me. If I want to go into, like, the VTuber sphere, right? I don't know if that would be the best fit. I don't know if there really is an agency that's focused on 3D. Like, maybe it hasn't shown up or anything yet, but I'm not sure. Because I think even like V Shoujo, they don't really have 3D models, they're more 2D. Some of them do, I think, like Melody, I think, does. But I think Zen does, but yeah, I don't think they use it as much. I think they're like kind of similar to Hololive. I mean, yeah, Miko does only use a 3D model. Like, I think if I wanted to do it for concert stuff, it would maybe align more. But I think I want to do like more like content creation stuff with 3D. Like, more just like what like karaoke's they do for 2D, I would want to do carry that over to 3D, which I guess wouldn't be too difficult, right? But there's also the thing of like I want multiple outfits while doing it, because I just feel like that'd be cool. And the thing is, like, even too, like played around with like 3D karaoke with their chibi model. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it would work. I think I would just really have to evaluate what I'd want to do, right? Which I'm sure that doesn't ultimately come clear also until like you're actually like in the heat of it. Which is another thing too of like why their goals might have changed too, is like they just thought of something while they were working there that that won't work with the company currently. So there's also that too. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with any of them, but I'm saying like that could also be another factor that goes into it. Yeah, it is funny how they just have like spaces all out to like once we've gotten over the last one, it's like, hey, here's another one. DJ Khaled and another one shows up. It's funny, I always have to remind myself too that technically 2024, as far as members go for Hololive, it wasn't that positive. They got 9 more members. Well, they only lost 3. Right? They essentially got a gen worth of new members still in this past year. And from what I saw, it seems like auditions are still up. So they're still looking for more people. Oh, that was another thing too. I want to get back to the Owl thing too, because on that, like, and I feel like okay saying it because it's just public, like it's just the forum. you click on it and it's just there. Under like I think past experiences, right? So like if you were a past singer, past dancer, stuff like that. One of the examples was stand-up comedian, which if they're becoming an idol, I don't think you put stand-up comedian as an example if you're looking for idols. Like, so that's another thing. I feel like that kind of debunks that as well. Not, maybe not completely debunks it, but it's just like makes me less willing to accept that is like fact or like a possibility. You know, it makes me more skeptical about it. It's because like, why would you put stand-up comedian? You know, I don't feel like that really fits with idol. You know, when I think of idol, I don't think, oh yeah, stand-up comedian. I mean, I'm sure there are some idols that are stand-up comedians, right? It's just like, that's not what I would think of, right? I would think of the singing, the dancing, right? The say-so-ness, you know? That's more of what I would think of. I would not think of stand-up comedian. Again, I'm not too well-versed in idol culture, so it's very possible about it as well.
The NFL season is here. Get NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV and watch every game every Sunday, all in one place. Sign up today. Terms and embargoes apply.
Yeah, just going back to something earlier today is like my driving test thing. Dude, I feel like with maneuverability, I feel like the cones honestly throw me off. Cause like I was looking at the side mirrors and like every time I was looking, it's like I'm like right behind this. Like I'm going to run into this. So like I feel like honestly, if I just didn't have the cones there, it'd actually be easier for me. And then just like kind of judge it from there. Cause like also, when are you gonna do the actual maneuverability thing that like they make you do for maneuverability, right? Like, I guess it's just so you know how to do like both directions, but like it's still like weird. Because I feel like in reality, you're never going to do that. I guess for like parallel parking though, right? Probably. I think that's the idea. But even then, I feel like parallel parking is probably easier than whatever the maneuverability thing is. I guess that's the point though, because if you can do that, then yeah, you probably can parallel park. Yeah, I kept like wanting to restart because I'm like, oh, I don't want to hit this cone. I want to hit this cone. And then, yeah, and apparently also you get docked if you go too far and then not far enough, which is also like, oh, cool. That's great. That's neat. Like, I feel like that should just be something you evaluate and like how they're going to hit the cone, not necessarily just be like, oh, no, you failed it because you literally did that. You know, like, that seems like you shouldn't dock the points for that. Like, sure, maybe I did do that, but like, I don't feel like it should be something you dock points for. Because like, I'm gonna hit the cone then because of that. Right, and if I'm already losing points for restarting and like stopping and pausing, right, like, you know, it just seems odd to me. Also, I don't know why, because the route I drove was out, like once I got out of a residential area, there was a hairpin turn onto a 55-mile-per-hour road. Why is that a thing? Why? That's so stupid. I think what it is just that they got lazy with it. It's like, ah, shoot, we need more houses. Quick, build a bunch of houses here. And then they just hastily connected it to the main road that was already there. So you just had him do a hairpin turn. It's like, oh, cool. All right. It was funny too, because the instructor, because like I wasn't ready for it, and so I went on the freaking left lane, and he like was like, oh, go over. And then he was like, oh, I can't stress you enough, man, how we're so lucky we're in the hospital. Like we could have died. And just like he just kept going about. I'm like, yeah, thanks, man. I gathered that once you said it the first time. You know, you didn't need to say it like in 4 different ways how like we would have died, you know, and like we're so lucky that there wasn't like a car there and like we could get out of the way in time. Like, thanks, man. I got it the first time. It's so stupid because like when I saw the things I was getting taken points off for, it just made like what I had that turned from like into apathy, it just went right back into hatred and just like anger towards driving. It went right back up to that. So I was also like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a bit, you know, like play it safe, you know, I don't want to like hit anybody or something like that. He's like, oh yeah, you hesitated. You see, if you do that, that impedes traffic. It's like, cool, awesome. Yeah, you know, I can't wait 2 seconds on the road, you know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it was a turn I could make, but like, I'd rather not freaking get hit, you know, than like, you know, hold someone up for like two seconds, you know, like, Jesus, dude. And yeah, I just took everything way faster. I think it's because like, oh, like they're gonna want me to like, they're gonna dock me from being too slow on my turns, and I was too fast on my turns. that happened. Because like I do a left-hand turn, but that's literally just like to get into my house. So it's like pretty much a stop. And then like go. Like I'm good at the stop and like when I stop and then I have to make a turn. I'm really good at those. It's just I suck when I have to do the turns like on a green light or something like that. I'm terrible at that. I think it's because like they're like, oh, you need to be at 15, and that never like stuck in my mind. But I think now that they actually told me, I might be better at them. Yeah, okay, that was weirdly loud. Oh yeah, they're streaming League again. I already talked about how I don't want to play League. And like how bad that would be for me, honestly, if I played League. But yeah, this is the first day I didn't play Hoi 4 in a while. And I think it's just because I had that appointment in the middle of it. I think if I had nothing, I would have just played Hoi 4 again. But because there was that, and then I was upset the whole time. Like for a good like 2 hours after that. That I was not in the mood to play it. So yeah. Because like another thing that's annoying about it too is like if it's like, because my mom was also like, take it as a learning experience. It's a lot easier to do that when you want to learn it. When you don't want to learn the thing, it's very hard to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take it as a learning experience, you know? Because I don't want to. Like if it's like Tekken or something like that, and like I've gotten myself being like, and I have to remind myself too, it's like, okay, if I'm getting hit by this a lot or like losing to this, like make it a learning experience, you know? Like try to learn from it. See what I can do to beat it. Like don't just get angry, right? And like I failed at that so far, but like I still at least have the mindset. I got the spirit. You know, like I got it in my mind. It just never, like once I get down to it, it never happens. But yeah, like I can at least do that with it. With driving, it's not like that. I think also though the problem with the maneuverability thing and like me wanting to start over a bunch is like I just had no idea where the steering wheel was also, so it just made it super hard to be like, okay, what am I doing then? Right, it made it so hard. And it also didn't help that the last like day where we worked on that, like I kept failing, and like the advice was like, oh well, you see you're stopping at this, so you want to go a bit faster, and then I would go faster and it's like, oh, you're going too fast, and it's like, great. Sick advice, dude. I love that. I'm a Tekken player, I'm not a Street Fighter player, dude. I don't time stuff, I just mash. Also my brakes being jerky, which, yeah, that is something I should remember. I was actually pretty good at it, like, when I first started, like, when I was driving my dad, but I've kind of forgotten about it. I think it's just because it's the same as Tekken. I've learned bad muscle memory, and it's just stayed with me because, like, nothing has happened, right? nothing bad has really come from it, so that's why I've just kept the bad muscle memory. Like I was going like 30 on like when I was supposed to go to a left turn that was like green, like full on green. I was at like a 30, and it's just like muscle memory, man. I think just bad muscle memory has just stayed. I need to undo it. Yeah, I also getting docked because I was going too slow, and it sucks because, like, yeah, I do remember that. I was like, oh, they'll get you for the speed limit. So like, I think just naturally in my head I was like, oh, I can't go too fast, but then that just made me go naturally slower. Like I just naturally would just never hit the speed limit then. But like once I got to it, like I never like went over it that much, which is kind of neat. Yeah, I was going too slow a lot of the time. Yeah, it was also because I went on a route that I had no idea. Like it was my first time driving on that route. That also didn't help. Yeah. I feel like it would be like nice at least to be a corpo VTuber, just so like you know what it's like to be on the other side. Because like obviously there's NDA stuff, but it would be nice just to know what it's like. I feel like also I could help people if like they'd want to be a corpo VTuber themselves, right? And like I think Narissa kind of did that, and she was doing like a few shorts like about that, but I think Rin did that too, because yeah, Rin was a part of Idol. But yeah, I think I would want to do that as well, just like kind of tell people what it's like. Obviously that's like still like not under NDA. Yeah, it does kind of suck that you can't talk about your experience there. Like you just basically have to treat it's like, oh, who's that person, you know? Like that kind of sucks. It's like if I were to say join Hololive and then leave, right? Like I'd have to phrase it around the fact of just like generic corporate VTuber, right? Like I couldn't be like, oh, in Hololive or something like that. Like I'd have to just say generic corporate VTuber, basically. I couldn't go into specifics really. Like it'd be very hard to do that. And like, yeah, I can probably have the mindset down, but like that's, again, mostly it's probably just mostly gonna be that. So yeah, it still would be interesting though. I am surprised though, like Mume is like still in university, because I feel like that means Mume has probably been in university the entire time she's been in Hololive. I wonder then like if she's like, because she's taking a break because of it, it's her last year. I would think so, right? I think that makes sense. If she's like taking this big of a break to work on like university stuff, I would think that'd be the case. That'd be her last year. I think around this time, like last year, I think she was still streaming, at least somewhat. I think she's just really locking in for that last year. It does make me think though that Mume might leave for whatever she's going to college for. Or maybe it's like she's going to college for something that helps her with like the field she's in. Very possible. I have been thinking about that, like doing like a video editing major. I feel like honestly that might just be more enjoyable. Like I've thought about a political major, like a political science major. I just don't think they'll be very enjoyable. And like even though I'm burnt out from video editing, I feel like it's honestly better because I have an excuse for it. I have an excuse to learn it, right? The only problem is like I think it's an art school and I'm going to like a general college I've been accepted to. I don't know how my mom will feel about it if I'm like, can I go to art school? I mean, I think she's open to it because like I'm sure it's like, hey, it's your life. You do how you want to do. Though also she's kind of like really wanted me to like be like, oh, like explore all your options. It's like, yeah, but I don't really want to. I mean, I think it just sounds less and less enjoyable to be a politician and just like all the crap that I hear. And like, if I can just be like an entertainer first and just like, you know, kind of forget all that, or just like inform people also, if I'd want to do that, that'd be nice. Like, I do think content creation is a dream job for me. It's like the perfect job for me. It's just I need to get an audience, and with how saturated the content creation sphere is now, like you have to like get an editor or something. And yeah, the whole like male VTubers, like if they're more or less popular, is interesting. I think indie wise, it seems like female VTubers would be more popular. I mean, I think people would probably look as like Hall Live and Hall Stars as like, oh yeah, definitely like girls in the VTuber world do a lot better. But I feel like there's probably other things that explains why, like that gap, more than just that, right? I think there's some other stuff. I think for specifically corporations, like it's probably songs is another one too, right? A lot of the big ones have songs. Like Gura's an exception, but like Marine's second. She does a lot of music. Callie's up there. I mean, where is Callie? Nerd fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. She's seventh. Suisei's fifth. Kobo's fourth, and she's done great stuff with music. Decora's third. Like, I think they also just have like certain personalities to them. Aqua, I think, was a big like personality one. Miko and Krone were like pretty big. I just don't know in JP like who are the big like music people other than Suisei. I mean, I would assume the be the people who have solo lives, like Miko, Fubuki. Again, Suisei. Has there been one this year? I feel like there has been our solo live, but I can't think of it. Yeah, those are probably like the big ones. Although, like, I don't know also if they're like big, right? Because they have been around for so long. Oh, Sora is probably one. Sora's probably one. Azuki, I think, is one also, right? I'm pretty sure. Because she also had like V Singer stuff pop up a while ago. I know that. I think Gen Zero is probably like more song oriented. Except maybe Miko. Which Miko was last of Gen Zero, I believe, right? So it makes sense. Like if there was one to not be, right, and there's like a pivot maybe in what they're looking for, that makes sense. It's funny though, because I did see the thing like Gen Zero had like a lot of this like stuff they did beforehand, and then it's just Miko. And yeah, Miko is great. I mean, Miko did like, I feel like she's one of the faces of Hololive for sure. Like, I think it's like Sora, Fubuki, Suisei, Miko. I forgot immediately. Subaru's up there, and Marine. If we're still going JP, I think those two are up there. And then for EN, it'd be like Gura, Callie. I think those are really the only two that are big enough to be called faces, right? Is Callie and Gura. I mean, maybe like other members of Myth, right? But there's like the two I see. ID would probably be Muna, Ali, Kobo. Actually, yeah, Kobo's be number one. And then Muna, Ali. I mean, I guess with EN also could be Iris. just again with the music. I think the music is definitely what will make it like them look like faces of it. Oh, Pecora also. I'm dumb. Pecora was literally in the freaking Hollywood Dodgers event. Yeah, Pecora for sure. I'm an idiot. You know, freaking Content Creator of the Year nominee Usada Pecora. I'm dumb. She's also the third most subbed too. I might be a little stupid. I think I also heard that like 2 years in a row she was the most watched streamer. So yeah. Yeah, I wonder what Maureen's stream or sub count must just be from her songs, if I were to guess. Like, if we're comparing Decor to Maureen, as far as like ratio of subs gained. Right. I feel like that's probably accurate. She also does not help with the whole lewd tuber accusations, but whatever. Anyway, oh, Ame has 1.8. I'm dumb. I think I said 1.6. Yeah, she is 1.8. Ina has 1.6 basically. Yeah, Myth hasn't hit like a 100k threshold in like a while. Well, actually, Gura and Callie, I think, yeah, they've hit theirs recently, but yeah, Ame, Ina, and Kiara didn't hit one like forever. Which is crazy to me too, because Kiara like is like constantly making music. So I feel like that would just naturally bring an audience in, but it just doesn't seem like it does. Which is crazy to me. Because I feel like Kiara's music would like do so well, like, and Muna's. I think if you were to play either of those just out in public, like, especially High Tide, because I feel like that's a gym song. Like, that is a gym song. When I was hearing Jared do a drum cover of it, it's funny too, because I listened to a bunch of newer songs. Because people clip Jared doing drum covers of it. Like, when I was listening to him doing the drum cover of it, I was like, oh, this is a gym song. Like, if you were to play that in a gym, or like if in my strength conditioning class, I played that in the freaking, like, in there, they would have been pumped up from it, dude. Like, those songs would be big if they were more mainstream. They just aren't, because it's a VTuber song. But like, yeah, no, those would be big. I think even someone said, I think with Mirage, or like Do You, something like that. Like, it would be on the charts if it was done by like a mainstream artist, right? Like, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And like, yeah, I don't know how you really break through that mold, because like you had the Dodgers collab, which was definitely, that was neat. But like, I don't know how you would get more mainstream. You know, that is definitely a conundrum. And the thing is too, like, some of them might not like that. It's again with like the 3 who have left this year, right? I don't think it was necessarily like that they were getting more mainstream. I think it was just like their goals weren't aligned. Like, maybe that was evolved, like that was related somehow, but I don't think that's why. Maybe with Aqua, but I think with Ame and Chloe, it's probably was something different. I don't think it's necessarily that they were like purposely trying to go mainstream. But again, it might have been something involved with that, right? Like how they changed it to become more mainstream. So yeah, it's really hard to tell. Right, because we aren't them, you know? So we have no idea how they feel. I also like how the leader of Flow Glow has the least amount of subs. But that, to be fair, that's also the case with Advent, because Shiori is technically the leader of Advent. And that's the opposite with Justice, because Liz has the most as the leader of Justice. It is funny too, because like I feel like she's the only one who's like actually like Justice. Just like, because Cece's my favorite from Justice, and just listening to her, I'm like, yeah, no, that girl is not. She ain't Justice. who let her on? Who let her in Justice? Even Raora, I think, said a few times when like she's kind of just admitted something. And it's like, oh, okay then. You know, like that doesn't sound very Justice-like. It's why like when I hear stuff like with the like visual novel that they do with Halloween or like any like lore-based stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's how they're supposed to act. Because it's like never like the same, right? So it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like maybe Gigi as well, but I feel like it's really only Liz that's the only one. It's like, all right, we're gonna be Justice guys, right? And all the rest of them are just silent and she's like, right? I don't, you know, I feel like we got a boys situation here, the boys situation. Is that what it's called? Also, the group, is that why it's called the boys? I thought it was the something 7 or something like that. I can't remember. I heard it like once, and then I did not stick in my mind. So yeah, I have no idea. This is probably also why I should space out the yapping streams, because I actually have been like yapping for like an hour and 15 straight. To be fair, there was the whole Chloe thing. It's like it wasn't necessarily from like other stuff, but I'm sure also if I just have more actual gaming streams when I focus on gaming, it gives me more time to just open up and talk about stuff later. Like Fauna does a really good job at it. I think though, because like also she can talk about trivial stuff and like make a debate out of it or something like that, where for me it's like, no, that's too stupid. Why are we debating about this? But I think that's also because I care about politics. I think if I didn't, then like, yeah, I would find that stuff much more enjoyable. Like I really have to be in a mood, right? It's like when they did the whole coffee versus tea thing in Hololive, like I had to be in a mood for it, right? Like even during that I was like, oh well, tea probably wins because Fawn was like the one who would legitimately throw like facts. So like tea wins. But yeah, it's just stuff like food and all that, man. It's just like, it's whatever. I think I think it's different. Like if I know the other person's joking and like we're just debating over like something super trivial as like a joke, then I think I would be able to be in the mood to do it. And I think that's why I could like join in more on the coffee versus tea thing, because that's clearly what it was. Like I think even Raora said like on multiplication she didn't care if you drank tea. But I think if people are like legitimately like debating about this stuff, it's like, all right, cool, man. You know, your taste buds are just different. So like, your taste buds may agree with that, but I don't. It's another thing. Well, I will say actually, there's one thing, and it's the fact that I think pizza is the most overrated food. And like, I'm definitely doing that just to make people mad. I am absolutely going to do that. It was the most base Hololive take I heard when Fwa said that she does not like pizza. most base take I've ever heard from a Hololive member. Do you like pineapple on pizza? No, just give me the pineapple, baby. What a based answer. Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I definitely will like have my pizza take just to make people mad. And I feel like honestly it is more for those people who care about that way too much, because it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make you be super upset over nothing. I mean, it's better to be upset at that than like something stupid, like even dumber, right? You know, at least you're upset about something ultimately harmless. Like, at least you're not upset about like trans people or something like that, or a minority, right? You're just upset about someone's tastes in food, you know? Like, that's ultimately harmless, at least. So, yeah. Yeah, it was such a base take. You know, Fuella did nothing wrong. She did not deserve that to be painted on. I will say, if I was there and she was like, all right, we're painting on you, I would do the whole Bobby Fish, where's the lie? Or also the, why you booing me? I'm right. Yeah. I love those clips, dude. Especially the, why you booing me? I'm right. It just sucks because I feel like there's not a whole lot of application for it. I think it's only for stuff like that. As like a leftist, that's like the only time you can do it. But I think I think that it's so funny. Why you booing me? I'm right. Also, I feel like an underrated part of the original like These Nuts video is like, is the dude's laugh in it. I feel like it's so underrated because people just remember the got him part and the dude saying These Nuts. But I feel like his laugh in it afterwards is honestly a super underrated part of the freaking video. It's so great. I will say he treated the editors poorly, but there's a reason why the editors of Lost and Unbound use that laugh in the videos, because it was freaking great, dude. Like, it's so applicable, but like I never hear anybody use it anymore. Like the freaking dude's laugh. Like I hear people even still use like the These Nuts part of it. Obviously you're probably always gonna hear like got him part of it. And I still even sometimes hear the These Nuts part, but dude, the dude's laugh during this is so good. Like, I feel like, honestly, if I were to edit, like, in a These Nuts thing, like, I would do the dude's laugh more than I would, like, the... I mean, the got him's pretty good. So I'd probably still keep the got him in, but, like, throw in the laugh as well. I feel like the whole These Nuts thing at this point is, like, it's the same with, like, puns, right? Where, like, the comedium isn't necessarily, like, the pun or, like, saying These Nuts anymore. It's, like, the person's reaction. Now, I will say someone like Fillion does it, like, way too much. But well, I think because the thing is also like at this point she's saying it and there's no reaction, so it's just not funny. These Nuts is really only funny when the other person reacts to it. You know, like it's the same with like puns, where I feel like that's where a lot of the comedy can come from, is the other person's reaction from when you giving the pun. But I think that's also just me being biased because I watched the Runaway Guys, so that's how I kind of, you know, took in puns, you know, which was Emil like very clearly making a very bad pun and I'm reacting to that. So yeah, it might have been influenced by that. Yeah, I do kind of end it because I'm like half an hour over. I just kept finding things to talk about, you know? That's all I gotta say. Yeah, so think too, if I became popular, like, because I'm thinking about editing it and then just posting on Twitter, if I became popular because of my taste, like my take on pizza, that would be so funny to me, right? And like me also being like an open like communist to talk about like leftist stuff and like politics, like that'd be so funny if it started because people like saw it didn't like pizza and got mad about that. That'd be so hilarious. Oh yeah, also what's great about that too, I didn't point out, was Crony's reaction of her just like losing it and just like shutting down. Like she just couldn't comprehend it. When she just said, she's like, what? Well, I think also because I think what shell shocked her, why it's shell shocked her so much is because that's obviously when you're asking like a question like, do you like pineapple on pizza? The last answer you're expecting is, I don't like pizza. But I like pineapple though. I think that's why like it really shut Kearney down, because that was not the answer she was expecting. Yeah. It's funny too, because like she tried to get rid of the whole controversial one too, and I think she somehow gave the most controversial answer she could have, and it wasn't yes or no. It's the best part too. It's so good. Hey, is this from my dad maybe? Oh no, okay. Never mind. Oh, my dad that doesn't care about me anymore. I thought that he texted me, but he hasn't texted me in a minute. I think I said before, but next time he texts me, I did actually just want to like call out his narcissism. And hey, if he wants to make a bunch of excuses, then hey, that's all the proof I need to block his number. And then just carry on my merry way. But if he's willing to change, then maybe it's salvageable. Yeah, I really should end it. I was really thinking I might have had a chance. Well, I think I only thought I'd go in half hour, but I did kind of forget. When was the last time I did a talking stream? I was like 2 streams ago. It wasn't that long. I think that one was also like around like an hour. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. There was also obviously the Chloe announcement, and then also I had the drivers thing. So yeah, I think it makes sense that I would have been able to go this full length. I think it's usually like if I'm coming in with like nothing really, like there's nothing recently going on, like I think that's when I should be more cognizant of that and think of something in the background. Yeah, this was like a stream that like obviously like I probably should have expected me to go the full length, you know. But yeah, I think what I'm learning though also is if I'm doing collabs, I definitely should have like the hour before I'm talking to people, because especially like if this is by myself, I can do this, like, you know, I definitely could do it for a lot longer with actually having people to bounce off of, which is a chat. So like I definitely could do it for a lot longer. Oh, I think it's my brother responding to this text, because my mom sent a text. Yep, that was my brother sending a response text. I'm just gonna get rid of that freaking league notification, because absolutely not. Oh yeah, I did love that Shuri tweet too. When Gigi tweeted about her pinging everybody to play League, and then no one showed up, and then Shuri underwards like the gift of the guy like rubbing his hands together, looking in the fridge, and then just looking way disappointed. But it was with her model. That was so good. I think it's my favorite tweet. That, or it's either like when Ollie just said like her ridiculously long name, or Narissa said Shuri, I think over 200 times. I think people counted it was over 200. And then Shuri just retweeted and put WTF. Which I feel like is a very normal response. I don't remember what the context of the tweet was, but... Oh, I will say a good Narissa one though, and I think it was after, like Herb was like, because it was after the Justice Halloween thing, And everyone was like, "Oh, that compliment means a lot coming from a good singer like you." And yeah, I think she just said you're a great singer. And then Narissa's just one of the little dance of just like, man, I wish my singing voice would just like attract like all the like woodland creatures or something like that. like herbs. I think it was especially funny because I knew the context. Most likely that she like what prompted her to tweet that. I think that's what made it funny for me, but yeah. That was a pretty good tweet of hers. They have some good ones, you know? I'm kind of glad there is a person who clips like their Twitter posts, because I do sometimes miss some of them. Or like they will actually like I think translate them if they aren't translated. Because I hate Twitter, like you have to click into the tweet if you want to translate it, which is annoying. I wish you could just translate it when you're just like scrolling through the timeline, but yeah, it doesn't seem to let you. It's also through Google Translate, so it's probably like some of it's probably wrong. Like I think one of the, like Iris's tweets like Fuamoko or something when they debuted, something like that. Yeah, I was thinking about learning Japanese and I forgot like yeah reading it, because there's 3 different ways to read it. Actually 4, right? Because there's the 3 like kanji and like romaji, like all that, right? And then there's also the one where it's in English letters, or like what is the alphabet? Latin? Is the Latin alphabet? I think. So there's also that one too. Oh no, actually I think that is romaji. I think it is. I'm pretty sure, actually. Right? Yeah, it is. Oh, Roman alphabet. That would make sense. Yeah, so that is romaji. Ah, katakana. There's another one. Learn about all about romaji and why you don't need it. I mean, to be fair, I think it's really only important for like honestly Hololive, because they play like games with text chat, and obviously it's a lot easier because I think a lot of the keyboards have Roman alphabet, right? So you will need to learn romaji, like most likely. And I'm sure it's not that difficult, right? Because it's similar to like phonetically, like, and I'm sure for like an outsider too, like it's not that hard, because it's just probably what it sounds like, right? Like it's just the sounds. So I'm sure even like romaji is not that hard. Yeah, like katakana or like kanji, there's a lot. So yeah, it's probably a lot harder to read that. And I don't think I would need like even like join Hololive or something like that. I don't think I necessarily would need to know kanji or katakana. I would just need to know romaji. So if I would want to like type to them in like game chat or whatever, I can talk to them that way. And I think like yeah, obviously like understanding like speaking it, right? I think just like reading it, I don't think I would necessarily need. But yeah, that's how I would probably feel about it. Because the thing is also, I think that's how it is on like in the Hololive songs when you translate in English. I think the Japanese is in romaji. So yeah, that also like I would need that for if I wanted to sing the songs too. Understanding romaji would be very helpful, because then like the romaji lyrics actually would help me. I think they are just like more direct translations though. I don't think they flow with the songs, because like I've tried to sing like the English part like in my head, and like I just don't think they work. But like maybe I'm not singing it correctly. Well, I think especially Stellar Stellar, because it has Cinderella in it, and with how Japanese is, like I think the subject and the other part of the sentence that I can't think of, I think they're flipped in Japanese compared to English. So like it's very hard to like sing it word for word, right? Because obviously it's not going to sound right. So like I think you'll never have direct translations, and I think even potentially with like especially with like rap songs. You'll never have a direct translation because everything's like different syllables and stuff too, right? And they have like different meanings. So like unless it's like a super similar language, I don't think you'll ever get a direct translation of like a rap song or something like that, right? You're gonna have to switch it up a little bit. Or just like a song that focuses on rhyming and like fast singing. Because if it doesn't focus on rhyming, then I think you can do more of a direct translation. But yeah, I think if it's more of a rhyming thing, like, yeah. And I think most songs, especially pop songs, are, which I assume Hololive also does a lot of rhyming in their songs. So, yeah. I just wish we didn't live in a world where just blindly hating people is the norm. But, you know, I think if we elected Bernie in 2016, maybe that wouldn't have been that big of an issue. Oh, man. But we got whatever this freaking nonsense has been and is going to be for at least 12 years. And it's probably only going to get worse. Because I have no faith in where the future is going. Like, very little faith. Like, I think it's honestly going to take a miracle for us to get any progress again. Yeah, I'm hoping that miracle does happen. It just sucks because I think the prime of my physical form is just going to be spent just worrying about, you know, my life the entire time. And I mean, obviously it's not just me, it's everybody, but yeah. I mean, it's crazy also to me, like, how quickly people are starting to realize, oh no, this is bad. Like, he's not even in office yet, and people are like saying, oh no, this is bad. Like, the people who voted for Trump, like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, we're basically just gonna turn to Cuba, where nobody's gonna want to trade with us because they don't want to deal with our tariffs. Because tariffs are very stupid. Like, I mean, he said he was gonna do this stuff, you know? Like, actually, I feel like North Korea is probably a better example than Cuba. But, like, yeah, he said that's what's gonna happen. And I think it was Hassan who joked, like, the wall is not for keeping Mexicans out, it's for keeping you in. I do feel like though that is like kind of true. I mean, I guess it would hold more water, like more weight, if they also wanted to build a wall in Canada, but
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and background play, so you can watch videos while reading, searching, shopping.
Anyway, on that depressing note, I mean, to be fair, this isn't as depressing of a note as Sakuna when she ended her stream. I have a bunch of health issues. I should really see a doctor. Anyway, I'm gonna end stream. No, okay, Sakuna. Alright. I feel like unironically though, I probably ended the stream like that. I don't know though, because I don't think I've been that sick. Usually when I'm sick, I just don't stream. Because yeah, I think me not feeling good has only been like sickness. I think I've had like lower mental health days, but I don't think I've had like, oh, I only want to eat like 2 bites of my favorite food or something like that. I don't think I've had something like that yet. So, oh, what, you freaking cookie chained me? You know, this gives nothing. You can give me my 7. I'm all good. And they really give you a lot of time for that one. It's crazy. Yeah, how I see it is like Hololive's current model is probably more fitted for the people who do songs. I mean, I'm sure maybe the people who are just streaming normally too. Because I think the thing with Fauna as well is just like, I think Fauna is only gonna leave Hololive if she just feels like she's good with who she's been streaming with in All Live, honestly, and she just wants to like collab with more people. I don't really see, or like with Niji, right? Like a Niji thing happens where everybody just leaves and freaking Hollow crashes and burns, but I haven't hit that point yet. Honestly, I think the more likely thing is like BlackRock's gonna buy him out or something, which that would suck. Because yeah, I think BlackRock has stock in All Live. Or like Cover Core. So yeah, let's hope it doesn't get to that point. But yeah. I'm 40 minutes over. I really should end it. It's still depressing note to end on. Well, I guess I was hoping that it wouldn't end like that, but it's still kind of depressing. I've not been able to like go to bed at like a normal time. Like I have had flannel sheets for the last like 3 days that I could put on my bed. But like the thing is, like I just do it right before I go to bed, and I've gone to bed at 2 in the morning, like every time. Which if you're Sakura Miko is early, but for me that's pretty late. So yeah, that's not great. I have a feeling though of how what time it is now. It's gonna be very similar time. At least I have 2 more days off. Yeah, I should really get going. All right, now I'm over here though. I'm actually gonna do it. Bam. I have said it before though, but I do think me being on, like, if I streamed on YouTube, it'd actually be a better fit for me with how much I talk about Whole Life. You know, I think it would be a better fit. It's just I can't because I need to get the subscription to Streamlabs. Is there Streamlabs gift cards? Let me just see real quick. Streamlab gift card. Credit card. It says a Visa, and that's on Twitch too. Yeah, I don't think there's a Streamlabs gift card. Yeah, okay. I didn't think there would be, but hey, you never know. Like the Hail Mary, you know, you never know. But yeah, I'll see you maybe tomorrow actually, or Sunday. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I should probably stop playing Wii Party. I'm looking at the other games just to see maybe if I have an idea. I don't think I have an idea yet though. So yeah, that's probably gonna be something I decide when the time comes. Yeah, I'll see you maybe tomorrow for that impromptu stream. Then if not, Sunday. So yeah, see you then.